Everyone wants to win, but very few are willing to deserve the win. And no, it's not about grinding harder. It's about something far deeper, something we call self-discipline. We all heard this before. Motivation gets you started. But the truth is, discipline is what keeps you standing when motivation is gone. As one of my favorite philosophers and public speakers, Jim Rohn, said, discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. When I was broke, I thought success came from intensity, bursts of effort, long nights, and inspiration. But the reality is, the top 1% don't rely on emotion. They rely on execution. They don't move because they feel like it. They move because their identity demands it. This video that you're watching right now is not a theory. It's my own blueprint. The blueprint that allowed me to go from sleeping in my wife's parents' basement with $40,000 in debt to becoming a millionaire by the age of 28. And today, building a company that is ranked amongst one of the fastest growing companies in America. Because what allowed me to do that is not my potential. It was my discipline. And if you master it, you become unstoppable. So let's break down how the top 1% use self-discipline to dominate their competition and how you can do the same. Many people that I meet, that I coach, have this syndrome, and it's called the discipline delusion. Most people think discipline is about punishment, and it's not. What discipline is about alignment, making your actions actually match your ambitions, even when your emotions don't. It's called delayed discounting bias, the tendency to trade long-term gain for a short-term comfort. That's why most people fail. They overvalue today's pleasures and undervalue tomorrow's potential. Here's the insight for you from Stanford study. People with higher self-discipline are almost 400% likely to reach their goals. Not because they're smarter, but because they're consistent. Discipline is the equalizer. It doesn't care about your talent, background, or privilege. It truly just rewards obedience to principles, not feelings. Discipline is not what you do once, it's what you refuse to stop doing. Right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you 5 principles of top 1%. Number 1, they don't wait to feel ready. See, the average person waits for motivation. The top 1% knows action creates motivation, not the other way around. When I first started in sales, when I was 18 years old, there were days I didn't want to make a single call. There were days that I didn't even want to look at the phone. But I learned the rule early. You don't have to feel ready to act. You just have to act to feel ready. Every single call I made built my confidence. Every repetition rewired my identity. The top 1% move first and figure out later, because waiting to feel ready is just fear wearing a calendar. They don't wait for motivation, they move without it. If you want to be top 1%, don't wait for motivation. Move without it. Number 2, design the environments that force discipline. Discipline isn't about willpower. It's about structure. Most people fail not because they're weak, but because their environment makes average behavior easy. The top 1% actually flip the equation. They make success automatic. Phones on airplane mode during deep work. Calendars blocked in advance. Surrounding themselves with performers who make mediocrity uncomfortable. University of London, you are 48% more likely to stick to a goal when your environment supports it, even without motivation. So remember, the top 1%, they don't fight distraction. They completely eliminate it. Number 3, choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Discipline means doing what's right, especially when it's not easy. The top 1% think in decades, not days. They say no to comfort so they can say yes to freedom. They sacrifice popularity for progress. They choose pain now for power later. When I was 18 years old, I skipped parties, vacations, balance, so that way I could chase mastery. So that way I could retire my father, so I could become the best version of myself. And people laughed at me. But guess what? Today, they're all silent. Remember, discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want right now. This reminds me of a powerful question someone asked me recently in the comments. Shout out to you, Alejandro, for this one. He asked, how do you know when it's time to cut someone after they fall short of the standard being held? Alejandro, you don't cut someone after their first mistake. You cut them when they show you consistently that your standard is optional to them. Everyone slips. Everyone struggles. But when someone repeatedly proves that your standard doesn't apply to them, it's no longer their fault. It's your leadership's failure to enforce boundaries. If you lower the standard for one person, you lowered it for everyone else that is watching. Discipline is not just personal, Alejandro. It's cultural. Leaders who protect the standard, they don't just protect their people, they don't just protect the company, but what they protect is the future generations. Number 4, they turn standards into identity. For the top 1%, discipline isn't a task, it's identity. They don't try to be disciplined, they are disciplined. They wake up early not because it's trending, not because someone's watching them, but because excellence is their default. They do not need accountability, they embody it. When the standard becomes the identity, consistency becomes effortless. I always told my people that identity drives behavior. If you believe you're elite, you'll act accordingly because your brain fights to stay congruent with who you think you are. I'm going to share with you a principle that truly has helped many people elevate and become disciplined. It's called cognitive dissonance. Your mind will do anything to stay consistent with your true self-image. That is why 1% focus on becoming the kind of person who does what needs to be done, no matter what. And that is why those people make discipline become their identity. It's not optional. It's almost as if it was oxygen for them. Number 5, they measure what others avoid. Average people avoid truth because it's uncomfortable. The elite chase it because it's liberating. They measure performance daily. KPIs, revenue, hours, habits, not for punishment, but for precision. They track the data that others hide away from. Leaders who track their goals daily are 42% more likely to achieve their goals than those who check in monthly. See, discipline without data is exactly what makes it a delusion. Because what gets measured gets mastered. So let's be real. Everyone says they want success until success demands structure. Discipline is lonely, it's thankless, it's repetitive, but it also what builds empires. When you see someone winning, don't envy their lifestyle, study their standards. Because the moment you raise your standard high enough, life will start matching it. You can't pray for greatness and live with average habits. Every win you want already belongs to the disciplined version of you. So stop waiting for the right mood, moment, or motivation, and start becoming the person who deserves the life you keep asking for. And please remember, learn from me, discipline is not a skill, it's a decision. Motivation makes noise, but discipline, it will make history. So remember, stay disciplined. And if you do that long enough, one day they'll call you talented. Here's my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, choose one area, health, business, mindset, and apply elite level of consistency. I want you to track it daily, audit it every single week, and watch how quickly your life becomes unrecognizable. Because the top 1% aren't special. They're just disciplined long enough to make average impossible. I'm going to close off with this. Self-discipline is not just a skill, it's a superpower. It's the reason the top 1% win when others quit. It's the difference between wishing for success and deserving it. But if you want to take this further and really learn how the top 1% dominate every area of life, then go watch my next video right here. 4 non-negotiables that instantly give you an unfair advantage in life. See, in that video, I break down exact principles I used to build my business and transform my mindset. If you want to separate yourself from the pack, click the next video now. I'll see you there.